You ever get a birthday present that changes your entire species' reputation? No? Lucky me. I'm Scar. Well, that's what my friends call me. Birth name's Marcus Kerrigan, but that sounds like I'm destined to become a tax attorney, so Scar. 20 years old today, the legal age for questionable decisions. My great-grandfather passed away a few months ago, old Terran Navy legend. Served before humanity joined the Galactic Authority. The man apparently left me something. I was hoping for a cool starfighter, maybe a plasma saber. Instead, my dad hands me a metal crate that looks like it survived 3 wars and a bar fight. There's a note on top. Give the galaxy back its soul. Great-Grandpa Rex. I open the case and see compact discs, physical media, music, ancient music, 21st century heavy metal. Blitz, our resident tech goblin, says, these are like prehistoric data donuts. Rocky laughs and flexes. Bet they're gym playlists from the old gods. Riot leans in, pupils dilated. Let's play one. I shouldn't have. But heroes rarely start with good decisions. Blitz jury-rigs his old player into the dorm stereo. The first track drops. Guitars, drums, war cries of electric glory. The walls shake. My hair tries to run away. Rocky screams, turn it up, the walls are still intact. 3 minutes later, we are all reborn. Humanity's inner beast awakens, and it demands riffs. Riot jumps onto the kitchen table. It is time. We form a band. Rocky drums the cereal bowls. Blitz is already online ordering amps we can't afford. And I, poor idiot, say the fateful words. We'll call ourselves Laughing at the Void. Scene, Galactic History class. Next day, Galactic History professor drones on. And so, human integration into the Authority was peaceful, as our kind provided. Riot interrupts, provided beats and justice. Professor blinks. What? Blitz blurts. Humans once defeated armies with only screaming and guitar. Professor, please leave. Worth it. First rehearsal. We convert the garage under our dorm into a studio, read a fire hazard. Rocky's drums nearly blow a hole through the wall. Blitz's bass causes birds to fall out of trees mid-flight. Riot invents a new vocal technique called Cosmic Throat Mayhem. Me? I discover my guitar can summon thunder, or maybe the sky was just afraid. First song, pizza, beer, and the destruction of false idols. Deep, philosophical.
Slice of glory, melted crown, raise your glass, we tear it down. Every tyrant's gotta eat, so bring the snacks and bring the heat. New commandments, hot and clear, pizza, faith, and frosty beer. Pizza, beer. Destroying false idols here. Pizza. A battle cry they fear. Pizza. We're loud and still sincere. Pizza, beer. Destroying false idols here.
We're terrible, we're beautiful. Suddenly out of the void, my dad calls. I guess the school administration had been getting complaints. Commodore Dane, decorated Zenith Armada. Commodore, emotionally allergic to nonsense, says, son, we're hosting a diplomatic morale event on Solara 4. Troops, brass, alien allies, we could use entertainment. Riot grabs the comm. We accept. We are entertainment itself. I faint. We pack up our gear and ship off to Solara 4. We arrive dressed like ancient warriors. Fur shoulder pads, denim armor, faces painted like angry raccoons. We look amazing. Commodore Dad looks regretful. Please, just don't start a war. Rocky whispers. No promises. 1,000 soldiers and alien giants stare at us. A hush falls. Riot taps the mic. Feedback screams like a dying star. This is for everyone who ever wanted to punch a god. We start playing. The bass explodes. Not literally. Everyone goes berserk with joy. 8-foot armored Vesk warriors are crying. A telepathic jelly blob forms pseudopods to headbang. A 4-armed insectoid moshes with a forklift. Scar's dad, one proud tear, or a stress tear. Hard to tell. The gig lasts 30 minutes. 3 encores follow. The band doesn't know any more songs, so they just keep rearranging the same 3 chords and play like there's no tomorrow. After this display, the diplomatic corps is believing all hell is about to invade the galaxy. Now the after party. We introduce the galaxy to that most human of games. Rugby. Rocky yells, "Who wants to hit things legally?" Aliens scream battle cries. Someone yells in 6 languages, "Rugby!" And suddenly it's humans versus the entire galaxy. After 30 seconds of instruction, the galaxy's first scrum forms. Riot scores a goal by being launched by a bear alien. Blitz accidentally tackles a tank and wins. Rocky bites someone. I am declared honorary war chieftain. Diplomats faint again. The void answers, and we get a strange invitation. A towering reptilian colonel kneels before us. We panic. "Humans, teach us this. Metal." The base chants, laughing at the void. Dad looks at me like he created fire and regrets it. He says, "You boys free for a tour?" Riot, we were born for a tour. The void let out a concerned sigh. You ever watch a civilization try to learn downpicking? Neither had I, until the Zenith Armada put us on a shuttle with a crate of amps, 3 pallets of pizza ingredients, and an interstellar waiver that basically said, in the event of cultural fire, humanity assumes no responsibility and will probably film it. Tour Stop 1, Korvath Prime, home of the Vesk. Reptilian fortress monsters with biceps that apply for separate visas. Their capital looked like someone built Rome out of obsidian and stern warnings. We rolled our gear onto the parade ground. 1,000 Vesks stood at attention, each holding a ceremonial war halberd. A brass band tried to play our national anthem. It sounded like a funeral for a lawnmower. Riot tapped the mic. "Korvath, do you accept the gift of riffs?" Silence. Then the Vesk war matron stepped forward. Armor clanging like a cathedral learned to walk. "We do not accept gifts," she said. "Rocky, we accept screaming?" The matron considered this, then nodded. "Proceed." We started with a classic, Thunder of the Old Suns. Rocky detonated the opening fill. I hit the main riff like I owed it money. Blitz tuned the subwoofers into earthquake. Riot roared, "We bring you volume as a love language." There are many ways to measure cultural adoption. My favorite is watching an 8-foot lizard warlord headbang until her helmet hits her shoulders with a noise like distant artillery. After the 3rd song, the matron stepped to the mic, disoriented and in love. "Teach us, metal." Riot handed her my backup guitar. "First rule, if it breaks, it becomes art." She strummed once. A viewing platform detached from the east wall and drifted gently to the ground. "Small price to pay for progress." Again, she said reverently. By sundown, Korvath Prime had a national holiday, Day of Acceptable Noise. We celebrated with the second contact protocol of our species. Rugby. Korvath Parade pitch Rocky. Humans v lizards, 2 halves, no crying unless funny. What is offside? Blitz, a polite disagreement about space and dignity. Riot, if you accidentally suplex a ref, that's extra points. Meat, it's not. Rocky, it should be. We kicked off. A Vesk caught the ball with his sternum. The sternum apologized. He charged. I met him with a legal shoulder. It was like tackling a decorative fireplace. He grinned, impressed. We both hit the turf laughing like idiots, which arguably we are. By the end, the scoreboard read Humans 17, Lizards 17, mostly because the scoreboard operator fainted, and we considered that a sign of peace. The matron raised my hand and declared, "Humans are small but contain many crimes. We approve." We left Korvath with 12 new songs, 2 cracked ribs, mine, and a state dinner where we taught warriors how to eat pizza without using a combat knife. No, you fold it. Look, like a friendly calzone. They cried again. Honor, I think. Stop 2. Vish Prime, where the predominant life form resembles graceful jelly tanks with telepathic choir brains. Their cities are floating rings above sapphire oceans, connected by light bridges that hum when you step on them like they're gossiping in whale song. We played an acoustic set so as not to rupture reality. Riot wore a scarf because the wind kept flirting with him. The Vish choir bloomed behind us in a fan of bioluminescent blues, each voice a note you could drink. Humans, their conductor sang in our heads, Your music is angular empathy. It hurts in pleasing ways. That's our entire brand, I said. They asked to attempt the solos. I showed the conductor a pentatonic run. He tried it telepathically. The lagoon boiled. A delighted Vish child teleported 6 inches to the left with excitement. The conductor bowed and apologized for boiling some sea. I assured him we boil things all the time on purpose and call it culinary achievement. That night, they served us beer derived from kelp nectar. It tasted like a lighthouse learned to love. We taught them drinking songs. They answered with harmonic counterpoint that made Rocky cry into his cup. He sniffed. I'm not crying, my face is hydrating. The Vish declared Rugby a choreographed collision ballet. We declared their goalposts too far apart to be lawful, so they moved the ocean a little bit. Telekinesis, man. Useful for lineouts. By dawn, Vish Marine Rugby had a logo, a chant, and a sponsorship deal with a kelp brewery called the Raging Tide. Their ad campaign, Hydrate, 'cause good trouble. Tour stops blurred into a montage of joyous disaster. On Miarca Station, the Grav platform DJ tried to scratch vinyl with anti-gravity and accidentally discovered a new subgenre. Float metal. Everyone moshed gently while drifting 3 feet off the ground. I don't know if we invented a music style or a medium-risk insurance product. On Aserit's moon, Blitz ran a workshop titled Bass for Species Without Fingers. 2 attendees were clouds of nanobots. One was a sentient scarf. They were very polite. We sold them pics anyway. On Jur Volant, Rocky hosted Rugby for people who are technically pterosaurs. He added the try not to smash the referee with your wings rule. They smashed the referee with their wings. The referee was into it. We learned a universal truth. Give a galaxy loud guitars, legal tackling, hot pizza, and cold beer, and war loses 9 out of 10 votes. Vote 10 is always a bureaucrat. We will address them shortly. The first brewery revolt happened on Dock City Torum, where the Brewers Guild insisted beer should taste like solemn bread. Riot raised a hand. Respectfully, what if beer tasted like victory? The guild hissed. Victory tastes of duty. Great, Rocky said. Add citrus. Blitz produced a portable nano brew kit from a suspicious pocket. We can hack this. In 3 hours, we'd created Solar Smash IPA, which smelled like grapefruit, apologized for your sins. The guild refused to serve it on moral grounds, then sold out in 9 minutes. They asked for franchise rights, we asked for lifetime supply. They countered with 2 lifetimes if you sign this pact with a ceremonial quill. I checked the fine print. It was fine. The quill was a small bird. He seemed into it. By month 2, it was out of our hands. Galactic Rugby exploded like a joyful contagion. Mixed species leagues sprang up on stations and moons and floating cities. Betting markets went supernova. Economists called it irregular aggression futures. We called it rent. Broadcast rights paid for our tours, our equipment repairs, and a large chunk of Solara 4's pizza import deficit. Commodore Dad pretended to be mad until his budget doubled. Then he pretended harder. And the fights, they moved off the borders. Onto the pitch. It turns out, given the choice between annihilation and smashing your good friend Vrock from logistics into the turf with a legal tackle while the crowd chants your name, sentience will pick the one with nachos. War declined by measurable percentages in conflict sectors that hosted rugby leagues. Diplomats sent us charts. Riot used them as stage backdrops. This next song is called Numbers That Punch War. We were becoming a controlled disaster. And I was proud of us in ways my professors did not anticipate. Of course, there were the misfires. On Kthorn Ring, a floating city run by accountants, we scheduled a show in the Central Plaza. Their chief ledger officer opened with a welcome speech. We applaud cultural exchange within audited parameters. Riot winked. We applaud everything within louder parameters. We hit the first chord. A flock of paperwork drones fainted. Our AMP feedback triggered an emergency meeting about the ethics of pleasure. We played Expense This mosh pit while 1,000 tidy citizens tried to clap on 1 and 3. Blitz had to leave the stage and teach them 2 and 4 with a laser pointer and a patient smile. Afterward, the chief ledger officer shook my hand and said, "Regrettably enjoyable." I'm putting that on a shirt. On year A9, we scheduled a pizza workshop for a species that considers triangles a legal summons. Our slices were confiscated and put on trial for seducing the youth. The youth were already eating them. The trial ended in a plea deal where pizza agreed to stop being triangular during exam season. On Drawl's anvil, we tried to explain stage diving to a culture of gentle giants. They took it literally. Riot surfed the crowd like a conquering river. A grandmother the size of a shuttle lifted him to the sky and yelled, "The small one is mine now." We negotiated safe return by promising 2 encores and a recipe for garlic knots. Then came the Gaz Charter, a cluster of austere worlds whose coalition council believed fun was an invasive species. They sent a representative named Auditor Clem, a gray-skinned humanoid shaped like a disapproving bookmark. He approached after our sound check, eyes narrowed. "Your tour correlates with spikes in unruly gatherings, unauthorized wagering, and non-standard fraternization between military and civilian assets." Rocky beamed. "Also hugs." Clem frowned like he'd never met the word. "Furthermore, Rugby has become a proxy for interspecies dominance rituals. Highly destabilizing." Blitz pushed his glasses up. "Or highly stabilizing. Dominance rituals used to involve fleets." Clem ignored him like a polite wall. "We insist you cancel your performance." Riot leaned into the mic, voice sweet as gasoline. "We insist you get in the pit." I took a breath. Commodore Dad's advice echoed. "Pick the hill you're willing to headline." "Clem," I said, "come to the game. If you don't smile once, we'll cancel the show." He blinked. Smiling was not in his skill tree. "Very well." We gave him sideline seats and a protective hat. He wore the hat like an apology. The match was Gaz League debut, Gaz Grinders vs Solara Hullbreakers. First scrum, a Gaz enforcer and a Solara medic accidentally invented friendship by colliding, saying, "Ow," then laughing. The crowd, half Gaz clerks, half off-duty Marines, went feral with joy. Vendors sold neutral flavor nutrient bars until we swapped them for pizza samples. Within 10 minutes, Auditor Clem was holding a slice like it was an artifact of a better world. Midway through the second half, a Hullbreaker winger, tiny, fast, possibly superconductive, broke 3 tackles and sprinted down the line. The stadium leaned. He dived. "Try." The stands detonated. A Gaz grandmother stood and shouted, "I claim this human for celebratory adoption." We added that to our legal FQ. I looked at Clem. The protective hat had slid sideways. He was smiling, cautiously, like a person learning to walk. He caught me staring, self-conscious. "This is inefficient," he said. "Yeah," I grinned. "That's how you know it matters." He dabbed his mouth with a napkin. "What is this topping?" "Pineapple," I said, bracing for interstellar incident. He chewed, frowned hard, then nodded once. "Acceptable." We did not cancel the show. Auditor Clem did the clap on 2 and 4 very quietly with a small, rebellious hand. By mid-tour, the alien guitar solo had become a rite of passage. On Vel Saxum, their chief mason, a rock being named Graveta, attempted a slide solo by literally becoming a slide. I surfed it with a bottleneck, while the crowd chanted, "Stone, stone, stone." The stage warped slightly. The venue considered it an upgrade. On Helion Spire, a photonic life form called Luxor played a solo by modulating its body into a laser harp. It burned the setlist onto the back wall in cursive. We took a picture with it. Luxor signed the photo with light. We all cried for reasons we still can't explain. On Torum Dock, the beer people, the brewmaster tried a solo and shattered a vat. The floor flooded with Solar Smash IPA. Instead of panic, the crowd sat down, cupped hands, and drank like civilized goblins. A child looked at me and said, "Is this community?" I said yes. He high-fived me with a pretzel. Somewhere along the way, the news feeds changed. Headlines went from "Human Noise Band Incites Questionable Joy" to "Local War Cancelled Due to Playoffs." Soldiers stopped sharpening knives in barracks and started sharpening strategies for semifinal brackets. Entire squadrons negotiated ceasefires so both sides could watch the match together and insult each other legally. We received a letter from a border outpost. Last year, this valley was artillery. Yesterday, it was a pitch. We lost by 3. It was the best loss of my life. Riot read it on stage and then crowd surfed until a dignitary shouted, "Please stop being symbolic on me." Commodore Dad kept pretending he didn't like our methods until he showed up at a match with face paint and a vuvuzela. He sat next to the Vesk war matron, who wore a jersey and 6 medals. They argued about penalties and traded recipes. I took a picture. History should be adorable more often. We finally hit the wall on Doria's Prime, a citadel world where the High Quiet Council, motto, "Don't," had banned music louder than a harp. Our gig permit evaporated. Our rugby pitch was reassigned to solemn contemplation of crops. We held a silent rehearsal in protest. Full set, no amps. Riot mouthed lyrics. Rocky air drummed. Blitz mimed a bass line so funky I briefly saw God reading a manual. An old farmer wandered by, curious, sat down, watched. At the end he clapped once, soft as rain. "Play it loud," he said, "like we used to." We did. Doria's heard. So did the council. They showed up with escorts. I stepped forward, heart banging. "We'll stop if you prove your way is better." "How?" the counselor asked. "Beat us," Rocky said, tossing him a ball. Rugby decides many things. It decided this too. We set boundaries. We set rules. We played. The counselors were scrappy, full of secrets, durable like old boots. The farmer scored the winning try in sudden death and collapsed laughing. The council signed an exemption for communal noise that afternoon. They called it civic cardio. I call it joy. By the time we limped back to Solara 4, we were duct-taped, adored, mildly banned on 4 worlds, and trending on 1 billion screens. I'd learned 12 new ways to tune by ear and vacuum. Blitz had a side business outfitting alien bassists. Rocky had written a cookbook called Pre-Game Carbs and Post-Game Apologies. Riot had 1,000 new relatives. Dad met us on the landing pad. He looked older, happier, terrified. "Proud of you," he said gruffly. "Also, please stop breaking empires with pizza." "No promises," Riot grinned. Dad sighed. "Figures." He handed me a sealed data packet. "From the Galactic Authority." Riot read aloud dramatically, to Laughing at the Void. "Your tour has coincided with an unprecedented decline in border conflicts, plus a measurable uptick in cross-cultural cooperation. While we do not condone unauthorized moshing in legislative chambers, we—" He squinted. "Is that a Peace Prize invitation?" Rocky screamed. Blitz fainted gently onto a stack of drum cases. I stared at the stars beyond the hangar dome, thought about the matron's riff, the Vish choir boiling the sea, Auditor Clem smiling with a tilted hat, the farmer clap, the kids chanting our name like it was a password to a better world. I thought about Great-Grandpa's note, "Give the galaxy back its soul." "Okay," I whispered to the old man I never met. "We're trying." Riot slung an arm around my shoulders. "You ready to accept a medal in a vest that offends gods?" "As long as the vest has pockets," I said. "For pizza." "Obviously," Rocky said. Blitz sat up, hair in disarray, grinning like an alarm clock. Guys, I just had a vision." "Of glory?" "Blitz, of merch." We groaned, then laughed, then argued about pineapple again, because some traditions deserve to live forever. Tour of Disorder, in the books. Up next, a Peace Prize, a final gig, and a rugby match so beautiful that diplomatic immunity had to take a seat and clap on 2 and 4. I tuned my guitar until the note sat exactly where it should. The string vibrated against my fingertip like a small animal with opinions. "Okay," I told the void. "Laugh back." And for once, the void did. The Galactic Authority Hall of Unity is a towering marble cathedral of politics, built to make every species feel equally small. Ceiling so high it needs air traffic control, flags of 1,000 worlds whispering in the breeze of self-importance. And they invited us. We arrived in style. If by style you mean war paint, distressed denim armor, and enough spike accessories to break 3 metal detectors. Dad facepalmed at the entrance. You could have worn something formal. We are wearing formal, Riot said confidently. This is formal chaos. Rocky banged his drumsticks on a pillar. It cracked slightly. Blitz whispered, "We don't tell Dad." An usher led us into the great hall. A sea of diplomats and ambassadors, each dressed like their species' version of overly serious art. The Vesk war matron saw us and roared, "The noise bringers have arrived." Everyone ducked. We waved politely. Riot leaned in. "This'll be fine." It was not fine. Ambassador Kelthrin stepped to the podium, a very tall, very shiny beetle person in ceremonial silk. He cleared his throat. In recognition of their unique contribution to galactic stability through, what is this word, mosh pits, we award the Grand Peace Laurel to Laughing at the Void. The hall didn't clap. It erupted. Cheers, screeches, clacking carapaces. A small jelly creature inflated in excitement and drifted toward the ceiling. Blitz jumped to catch it. Rocky gave him a boost. They both fell into a snack fountain. The ambassador continued, "Humanity has proven something unsettling and beautiful." He gestured to us. "You have transformed aggression into celebration." We stepped up to accept the medal. A giant laurel wreath with LEDs and a built-in amp plug. Surprisingly tasteful. I took the mic. Big mistake. As humans, I began, we believe peace is not the absence of conflict. Rocky, it's the presence of tackles. Riot raised the laurel like a sacred relic. Tonight, we mosh for diplomacy. Music hit, the crowd lost its collective mind. The mosh pit that followed was so passionate that 3 galactic treaties were temporarily suspended due to excessive enthusiasm. One ambassador shouted, "I have never been this happy or confused." That's diplomacy, baby. Next came the Intergalactic Championship, the final. After the medal riot and 2 official apologies, it was time for the thing that truly united the galaxy, rugby. The championship match, Solara Hullbreakers humans versus the Vesk Warpack, reptilian juggernauts. The stadium on Solara 4 thrummed with energy, holographic banners, organized chaos, vendors selling pizza by the meter. Blitz engineered a rifting national anthem. Literally, the anthem had a guitar solo. It made an envoy weep out loud and confess to tax fraud. Game on. First minute, Rocky slams a Warpack captain so hard the scoreboard glitches and we briefly lead by 900 points. Crowd chanting, "Hullbreaker! Hullbreaker!" Riot grabs the ball and jukes around a reptile twice his size, yelling like, "Do cardio now." He does not. He trips, he soars, he lands on a Vesk tail and surfs all the way into the try-zone. Touchdown, try, score, doesn't matter. History. Halftime score, humans tied with reptiles. The galaxy never felt so alive. During the break, Auditor Clem appears. Same disapproving posture, same war hat from the gauze match, slightly more festive stickers. He folds his arms. This spectacle violates 17 clauses of the Stabilization Accord. I brace for cancellation. Then he smirks, a tiny rebellion. Clause 18. Exceptions may be permitted for events that demonstrably reduce war. I blink. You memorized the bylaws? He boops his hat, while eating pineapple pizza. A diplomat nearby gasps. The war matron overhears and bellows, "Clem has chosen joy." The entire stadium cheers his conversion. Clem turns to me. "I may mosh later if conditions permit." Riot. "Oh, we'll permit them." Final play, the human spirit aka bad idea that works. Final seconds. Tie game. Ball in play. Rocky whispers, "Scar, the plan." I raise an eyebrow. "We have a plan?" He grins. Lift Riot, I sigh. Terrible. Blitz. Beautiful. Whistle blows. I catch the ball. Sprint. War matron chasing. She is fast. I toss sideways. Blitz and I boost Riot skyward. He sails like a screaming eagle of questionable legality. Time slows. Crowd holds its breath. Riot yells for pizza and peace. He slams into the end zone with enough force to register as minor tectonic activity. The stadium detaches from its moorings by 3 millimeters. The humans win. War loses. The galaxy roars. It's time for pizza and beer, otherwise known as post-game diplomacy fireworks. Music. Beers from 12 star systems. A pteranodon alien accidentally flies off with Riot. We negotiate his return with carrot sticks. Ambassador Kelthrin pulls me aside. You humans, remind us that peace takes work. Sometimes work looks like joy. We needed joy. I look across the field. Vesk and humans shoulder to shoulder, singing a tune that was once used to summon thunder. He's right. The void laughs with us now, not at us. That night, the peace prize glows on our table, surrounded by pizza crusts and broken strings. Riot raises a toast. To Earth, last to join the galaxy, first to teach it how to party. We clink glasses. We celebrate survival through silliness. We revel in the greatest HFY secret. There's no problem a good breakdown riff and a safe, consensual tackle can't solve. We saved the galaxy. We'll probably break it again, but damn, it'll have a great soundtrack. Peace. Turns out peace is loud. Every screen in the galaxy replays Riot's Sky Scream touchdown like it's a holy scripture. Every bar streams our concert instead of politics. Every species is suddenly an expert on rugby rules they do not understand. Blitz checks the feeds. We've been memed in 14 dimensions. Rocky beams. We're legends, Riot flexes. My hair has diplomatic immunity. Me? I still can't believe we didn't die even once. That's character growth. The Galactic Authority announces the Cultural Exchange Summit, the biggest diplomatic gathering since humanity joined the club 50 years ago. And guess who's headlining the closing ceremony? Yup. 4 college idiots with war paint and amps that violate treaties. Ambassador Kelthrin calls it a celebration of interspecies joy. Dad calls it a night I will definitely need stomach medication. We call it the final boss of fun. The venue is a planet-sized amphitheater floating above a dwarf star, because politicians hate small stages. The crowd holds millions. The architecture looks like a spaceship had a baby with a cathedral made of lasers. Every species we've visited is here. Vesk Warpack with ceremonial earplugs, Vish Choir glowing like ocean sunsets, nanobots forming Go Void signs. The pterosaurs doing looping maneuvers, airspace violations probable. Even Auditor Clem attends. Now wearing a band tee, he nods at me. Today I intend to enjoy music recreationally. We're so main event. We didn't start the war. Riot steps to the mic. Galactic citizens, we've screamed across your worlds. We've tackled your bravest, been tackled by your grandmas, loud cheering from the Droll giants. But tonight, we celebrate what makes us all the same. We all fight stuff. We just learned how to make it fun. I start a slow, heavy riff. The stage shakes. Aliens hush. Song title appears on the holo screen. We didn't start the war, but we did change the rules. Rocky hits the drums like he's legally obligated to cause earthquakes. Blitz's bass turns bones into good vibrations. Riot screams with the power of 1,000 caffeinated diplomats. Half the galaxy moshes. The other half files formal requests to learn how.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We wear the armor of the angry sun.
The galaxy tenses at the start of the last match. After the set, the field converts into the largest rugby pitch ever built. Opening play, the Vesk Matron declares, is made by the team of humans and the one who smiles at pineapple. Auditor Clem looks terrified. We hand him the ball anyway. He sprints, he flails, he survives 3 tackles, he scores. The crowd ascends into euphoria. Someone launches confetti made of peace treaties. Rocky chest bumps Clem. Clem says, breathless, this is the correct way to govern. The legacy conversation. Later, as fireworks burst in nebula colors, Dad joins me at the railing. He clears his throat, emotionally constipated military style. Your great-grandfather, he didn't just fight to protect Earth. He fought so humans could teach the galaxy what living looks like. I swallow hard. He looks at the stage where Riot is riding a pteranodon while eating pizza. I'm not sure this is what he meant, but I am absolutely sure he'd approve. He puts a hand on my shoulder. You gave the galaxy something I never could. What's that, I ask. He smiles. Small, real, a reason to laugh. Backstage, a courier hands me a sealed case. Inside, Great-Grandpa's original metal collection, restored, digitized, and glowing with sentimental vengeance. A note, you finished the job, now write new legends. Rex. I look at my guitar, it looks back, hungry. Riot saunters over. Encore? Rocky, always. Blitz, I already hacked the lights. I grin. Let's give the galaxy the encore it deserves. The final song. We walk back on stage. The galaxy quiets. I speak into the mic. We all stare into the void sometimes. Tonight, the void stared back and laughed. Riot slams into a scream. The crowd answers with joy. 1 billion hearts beating in 4/4. This time the chorus isn't ours, it's everyone's. A peace prize shines around my neck, warm enough to feel like hope. All around us, beings who once went to war now go to concerts. All around us, old enemies exchange jerseys instead of artillery. All around us, the galaxy chooses fun. We shred the final chord so hard the sound barrier joins the fan club. Lights explode, everyone roars. And somewhere, beyond stars and politics and fear, the void laughs with us.